Yeah, we on a sister ship. Come with us, we on a sister ship. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us, we on a sister ship. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. Substance, sis, you know we on a mission, no games. Help each other get over some things. Build strength, bring change. Cause we've been through the rain. Now it's time to shine like blame. Let's talk about life skills. We building up our quality to right wills. We rolling out of poverty, love heals. So we become the prodigy of how a sistership could be a really hot commodity. Stand together, we united, hold hands. Support each other's dreams and our plans. Doing everything we can. Come on. Just to show we understand the power of a friendship, fam. Live life on purpose. Together we learn it. Yeah, let's talk. We don't want to see you hurt. And we here for each other, no matter the color. Networking, that's for sure and for certain. Come on. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Come with us. We on a sister ship. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us. We on a sister ship. We're my sisters. We got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. We're my sisters. We got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. Sistership, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sistership, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sistership, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sistership, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here at the Sistership at GenesisRadio.com. And with me today is Spicy, aka
Hello.
Jane Gagliardo.
Thank you.
We're going to be sailing into the murky waters of life again, talking about
It's
coping
exhausting.
skills. It's absolutely freaking exhausting. Exhausting it is, and it doesn't change as you age. I think it gets more exhausting as you change. You just get used to understanding how to deal with the challenges you encounter.
Exactly. I think as you get older, things that would have bothered me 15 years ago, just don't bother me anymore.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I think you learn to cope with them, navigate through them,
Right.
and try to make it, better and more the less nonsense, the less drama.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. I think we learn to walk away once we sense we're in the midst of nonsense, BS, drama, aka all the other craziness that happens in the midst of trying to just live our best life, But I think that people today are lacking the essential coping skills and understanding how important they are to improving the quality of life,
Yeah, and I think since the pandemic, it certainly made that worse.
Yeah.
I know for myself during the pandemic, I learned more about what I need than what I want.
Absolutely.
And, coping through that, and I wasn't alone. I mean, it was a worldwide pandemic.
Right.
I think I think we learned what was more important.
Yeah.
Than just the everyday, I want that. I got to have it yesterday. And I think it kind of kept us down a little bit.
I think the possibility of death shifts your whole perspective.
And as you get older, it definitely does.
It shifts your whole perspective, and I always tell people I've lived more life than I have left, and I want to live as good as possible,
a better quality
of life. And over the years I've learned what's important, what's not important. I've learned to identify the nonsense, the negative energy that can have quite a devastating impact on our lives.
Yes.
So I mean, you just got to feel it. I think a lot of people just brush it off. They think that, they give people a benefit of the doubt. They're having a bad moment or whatever. But when people, yes, and we do have bad moments, but when people consistently behave inappropriately, and like the saying goes, misery loves company. When they inappropriately behave and expect you to tolerate that, the craziness, that's craziness in itself. So we want to talk about a few of the things that people can do to deal with the negative energy, the challenges that impact on their lives that can sometimes be and oftentimes be overwhelming, disappointing, and a whole lot of other stuff.
And I mean, it's okay to let those things and those people go.
Oh, absolutely.
You should just send them off with love. When someone else's negativity starts to affect your happiness, your life, then it's beyond coping. It's now affecting you. So you need to say, I wish you the best and
move on. Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the most powerful coping skills. Move on.
Yes.
Let it go and move on.
Yeah.
Let it go so you can grow and move on with your life.
Right. And listen, we would love to hear from the listeners at 888-304 440701.
Oh, one.
Yes. Sorry. I don't have my glasses on. 888-304-4401. Please call in.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear your take on it, suggestions, concerns, questions. It always helps to, hear what's going on out there with you. I mean, this is our opinions and, what we want to try to help bring insight to. As far as coping.
Absolutely. Because you know what? Life is too short. I looked up and I was 69.
I know.
I'll be 70 in January. It's like, what? Oh my goodness. I was talking to my brother in New York on Friday, and we were just talking about the myriad of things that are going on in the U.S. today and how it's negatively impacting on so many of us. And one of the things, I said, you just gotta be aware of what's going on and be willing to walk away when you have to walk away. But you got to recognize it. A lot of people don't recognize negative energy and people who bring that negative energy into their lives. And so what they do is they tolerate it, and ultimately when you tolerate it, it begins to wear and tear the fiber of your own being.
Right. And your happiness.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and your happiness. You can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. You can't bring them to a level of thinking if they are focused on being negative. You just can't do it.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are addicted to being negative. It's maybe that's what they grew up with, just in a negative environment. And so they have just taken on that negative energy and moved out into the world and into situations with other people. And now that's the only way they know how to interact.
That becomes their identity.
It becomes their identity. And you know what? The bottom line here is it is not healthy for anyone.
Right.
It's not good for anyone. You can't grow if you won't let go or move away from people. And to be honest, we're really not here to save people.
No, no, no.
Salvation and transformation, I always say this, is God's job.
Right.
And if we want to play God, then let me tell you, that's a tough job, because a lot of people are just mean spirited,
Yes.
and just too difficult to deal with. But some people are diehards.
Yes, yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't, they don't realize they put themselves in a situation where they are ultimately going to die hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I live by, my lifestyle is based on peace and happiness.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that stuff doesn't happen.
Right.
Oh God, stuff
Right.
happens. Trust me, stuff happens. But I have to find a way to back away from anything that's negatively affecting me, so that I can shake it off
Mhm.
and move forward, and not allow that negative energy to take over my life.
Right.
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 And make me act other than who I am.
Right.
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 And it's so easy to get caught up
Mhm.
with people who are negative and who just lack the coping skills. Yes. To free themselves of the negativity and the craziness that they have found themselves in, and seem to just keep going down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
They sink into into the dark abyss of their of their situations.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's where they stay.
And it's hard to dig out of that, but I think maybe today we can have a bit of a conversation on how to get out of that. I feel like sometimes some of us are here to to lead by example.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And to maybe help these people that get stuck. I've been stuck. I'm sure you have too.
We've all had stuck moments.
And I could tell you for myself, I think it was, just something very small that kind of woke me up and said, "Oh my goodness, I can't go on.
I can't do this.
Yeah,
I just can't do this.
This is not who I am.
Right, right.
And it's not who I want to be.
Exactly.
I think we've shared our story many times with the listeners out there. We grew up in very dysfunctional homes, and I could tell you, my mother and father taught me the kind of person I never want to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think when you take anything back, or take away anything from whatever you're seeing in front of you, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, you can benefit by it.
Absolutely. I think on a daily basis, you have to do that deep introspective analysis of yourself and your surroundings.
Because you do that in the morning, right?
I do that every morning. And all 5 of my books were based on journaling my experience, what I was feeling, what was going on, and sharing some tips and tactics that people can use to live a better life. How I managed to navigate through the murky waters of life. So I would highly recommend that people get a journal, get a pretty journal. I talked to a woman last week, I think it was, or the week before, and she wanted to start writing. She wanted to write a book, and she just wanted to start writing. And I said to her, get yourself a pretty journal, start writing about your feelings, your experiences, what you feel about the people in your life, what you want. I mean, just start writing.
Yeah.
You'll find that at some point you'll start to get good at it, and it'll just flow.
Yeah.
It'll flow. It'll just get very fluid. And you'll be surprised at,
So Deb, you journaled. I've always journaled as well. Have you gone back, like a journal that you kept 10 years ago, 15? Have you gone back and read it to see how far you've come?
You know what? I think I kind of have that awareness kind of deep down in my soul. I even with the books, I don't go back and read the books. I don't go back and reread the journals. I really have a realization of how far I've come.
Well,
I don't want to rehash that.
Yeah. So I had taken a psychology class online, And one of the questions to the class was, if you knew you were, if you knew you were going to die within the hour, what's the first thing you would do? And I said, oh, I'd burn my journals.
Burn your journal.
Burn them. I would burn those suckers.
Hello.
Big time. Yeah, I'd burn them.
I was doing some cleaning up. Every now and then you gotta kind of look at all the stuff around you and decide what you need, what you don't need. You got to purge. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. You got to purge. And I threw away a bunch of journals, and all kinds of stuff was in those journals. Yeah. And I got rid of them because I'm never going to read them again. Like I said, I'm very aware of how far I have come, and I don't want to rehash the past because I'm busy trying to move forward into the future. Yeah. And let me tell you, the golden years is difficult because
golden years?
I know, yeah. The golden
when does that happen?
Yeah, that's what I keep saying too. The golden years are difficult because what happens is everything we think or thought about the golden years is false. Yeah. Almost everything. I guess unless you have plenty of money and can travel and go out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you want to, or just do whatever it is you want to do when you want to do it. You don't have to go to work anymore, so you can enjoy yourself.
I can never imagine myself not working. I'm serious, like not getting up, not having a goal or a schedule or a structure. Right. I guess I'm very structured.
Well, that's where the bucket list comes in.
Oh, is that where it comes in?
The bucket list. Sit down and write out everything you'd like to do before you take your last breath, and then you begin to do some of these things. Yeah. I know someone who right now has been doing a lot of traveling. She and her boyfriend have been doing a lot of traveling, and she took up photography. And she's taking beautiful pictures. Right now they're in Alaska. Oh, wow. And some of the pictures they're taking are just breathtaking, you know. Hi, Debbie B. I'm throwing that out to you. But I think there's so much that we haven't done that we can do as we grow forward into the remainder of our lives. I think, just knowing what we want and knowing where we're going itself is a coping skill. Yeah. It helps us to stay away from all those things that are not in alignment with our lives and what we desire.
The pitfalls. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think as you get older, you recognize them more. Right? Yeah. The pitfalls and the people that try to bring you to there.
Yeah, and pull you down in those pitfalls with them. Yeah. Like, again, misery loves company.
And my circle has gotten smaller as I've gotten older.
Oh, mine has gotten very small. Yeah. Most times, I think as we age and we get to a certain point, and I think that certain point might be 60, you start to slow down and you start to... You begin to think a little differently in your 50s. By your 60s, you've assessed a lot about your life and decided the who, what, when, where, why, and how-tos of your life. Yes. And I think that that's so important as we grow further into our senior years, and I find that one of the best things about the senior years is wisdom.
Absolutely.
You tend to gain a lot of, not all of us. I remember when I was a little girl, my grandmother used to say, ain't no fool like an old fool. And I've met some of the old fools, and you can easily spot them.
And patience. I find I'm more patient now than I was 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely more patient.
Absolutely. Patience. I always tell people patience is a superpower as well. I think that sometimes when we try and rush things, all we do is overwhelm ourselves. Yes. And so in order to cope with life, embracing patience is so important, because it keeps us from falling off the cliffs of life, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And you want to have the right people around you in case you do fall off that cliff.
Oh,
That's there to catch you, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, and I think that, you know, being with other people is paramount, but they have to be the right people. Some people want to be seen, they want to be accepted, they want to get in and fit in, and often where they don't belong. And so that creates a level of anxiety that only works against them, not for them.
Right.
So that's very important. Again, we are at 888-304-4401. If you have some thoughts, comments, questions, etc., we welcome them, and we'd love you to share your own views about how you cope. Because let's face it, the more of us who develop and share good coping skills with other people, I think the better the world will become.
Yes. And I know, you know, you have grandchildren, I have grandchildren.
Right.
And that's kind of what you want them to see too,
Right.
To be more acceptable, to be more patient, to listen. And I find that, you know, younger people sometimes don't listen.
When you said the word listen, I said, oh, I'm jumping on that. Up, here we go. Let me make sure. Good afternoon. This is the sistership. Who's on the line?
Hi, this is Darren from the Brothership.
Hey, Darren, how are you? Thank you for calling in.
Did you buy those sneakers?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I just want to share, you young ladies are dropping jewels today. And I think that I wanted to hear the message, and I actually just wanted to expand on it because, you know, what you're saying is thought-provoking. And, you know, I'm at a certain age where, I mean, I'm still working and I'm trying to figure out the plan, you know, my next plan. Now, I don't think it'll be working for someone, but I wanted to touch on a few things because you mentioned how your circles get smaller. What I'm finding through my life experience is that while I've always had small circles to kind of just stay focused on kind of what my purpose was, but now I think it's time for there's an opportunity to migrate into enriching those circles. So with the people that I feel that add value to my existence and being, I want to start looking at ways to make sure that we stay connected and move positively. Because as we age, one of the things that I know is very important is making sure we're still socializing, and having socialization is a cornerstone of how we're enriched, because work keeps us moving, if you will. But when we slow down, whether it's to do our own personal projects or things that we want to do, it's very important to have really good positive connections with people.
Yes.
Be it family, be it loved ones, be it just the people that you're around, because I've seen, at least in my life experience, people as they mature in age, sometimes they withdraw and isolate, and then that's kind of, I'll say, an accelerator for depression or loneliness and even, you know, decline.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And I think that, you know, we have to keep a good attitude. Being able to cope well requires positive energy.
Yes.
And we have to have a good attitude about the things in our lives, and just know what is good for us and what is not good for us, and don't make excuses for what's not good for us.
Right.
Just move on.
Yeah. But to your point, Darren, too, you know, enhancing the people that are in your life now is, I think it's a great thing to do, because these are the people that have watched you grow and you've watched grow as well, right, through the years, if I'm getting your message correct.
Absolutely. And I guess the final thing I'll share with the group before I continue to listen is that, you know, I think the best things that we could do for each other right now in the environment that we live is just kind of operating with peace and trying to be harmonious and reconciliation, because, you know, I struggle stay positive sometimes, because I think that, again, it's the environment. I think it's the stimuli that we get. Look at the news, for example.
Yes.
Right.
Look at the narrative that's being presented to us.
Right.
Look at the stresses of just everyday work or living and coping and managing. I found that, you know, to the points that you're making, continuing to be positive, it becomes bigger than just a mindset. It's also touching upon our spirituality. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to continue to listen to a great show.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Darren.
much,
Thanks so
Darren, for
much.
sharing, because those were really great points.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and say hi to Stefania for us. Okay, I got it. You know, Darren is so right. I like that word enrichment.
Yes.
You have to find things that enrich your life, that add to your life. You know, things that make you smile and feel good about yourself, and maybe even the space around you.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes it's hard to connect to people who are on the same wavelength as us. You know,
we have to find our happy place, right? Even within your own home, within your own circle, but mostly within yourself.
Absolutely.
You really, really have to find that. And I know, was it last year or the year before last, you actually created a beautiful space on your front porch. Do you remember that?
Yes,
you bought a chair, you bought flowers. Oh my God, it was just beautiful.
And I can just kick the deer because they have eaten my flowers this year.
Well,
you
they
know?
were happy.
Yeah, they were happy. Exactly. You know, so I know what to do for next year. What I do is go to the garden shop and say, what plants that have beautiful flowers on them that I don't have to worry about the deer eating the flowers, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, but hey, you at the time, that was just such a harmonious space.
Oh,
the
pictures are lovely.
Yeah, you
very
know,
nice.
And
but I do think to cope through a lot of the things we go through on a daily basis, our careers, family issues, all kinds of things we hear, you know, that we don't have control of, that like the news.
Right.
I could tell you there are times when I listen to the news and I have to boop boop put on the Hallmark station, or put on the oldies music, or something that's going to bring me some kind of joy and take me out of that, you know, that heavy. Sometimes it's so heavy, like Darren said. It's just, you know, we have to find that enrichment. We absolutely have to find it.
Absolutely. Yesterday morning,
and that's part of coping.
That's kind of sort of what I did. I felt the need for some inspiration, to be filled with some inspiration.
And what did you do?
I went to YouTube and I put on Wayne Dyer.
Oh, yeah.
And listened to about 4 of his messages. And it may have helped, because there were some family issues yesterday that would have made me cut my throat, but you know.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. I'd be sitting here all by myself today.
All by yourself, you know. And there are times when family makes you feel like losing your cool, losing your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to find ways to get through, to navigate through the waters, the dark waters that you may encounter from time to time with family. And, you know, I hear so many people talk about their family challenges, and, you know, this is where good coping skills really come into play.
Yes.
And, you know, sometimes you might just have to walk away from what's going on in your house. Go outside, take a walk if you can.
Yes.
You know, sit and just take in the sun and the breeze, whatever. Just take it in, be a part of it. Realize that you are a part of the universe. You're part of the essence of life. You're part of the greatness of life. You have to sometimes say really inspiring things to yourself. And I would encourage people to do that on a daily basis. The more
absolutely.
inspiring you become.
Yep, absolutely.
Hold on, we have another call. Hello, Cola. What's your name, and what do you want to share with us?
I'm going to go as Grape today.
Grape.
Oh, great. Hey, how are you?
First of all, that lady sitting next to you has been a blessing in my life
Oh,
for 55 years.
Hello.
we went to school.
And she
grade
definitely
school.
has been a blessing in
Thank
my
you,
life.
Grape.
I
Appreciate
love
it.
that we are connected the way we are.
Mhm.
And Deborah, you're driving me up the wall with those dishes.
With that. Well, you know what? I got up this morning and I took my blood sugar and it was 158, almost fainted. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have to come down. But I think yesterday, because my daughter took me out to lunch at the 444 cafe,
447.
447
Yeah.
cafe, I had a huge drink. It's called a monster. It was a monster drink. I drank it all because it was one of those days, you know. So it may have been a combination of the stress and the drink, but you know what? I'm cool today. I'm
There you
feeling a
go.
little better. I had to work
Yep.
on myself.
Yep, there you go.
I'm so glad you're feeling better. But I've been listening to the show. You girls are spot on.
Thank you.
And I'm at a point, I'll be 71 in a month.
All right. Happy
I'm
birthday to you.
I am 99% free of nonsense.
Good.
Good.
And how did you get there? What coping skills, Grape, did you use to get there?
Oh, I love to do things that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, I went on a sunset cruise.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Alone. I wanted to be alone. Sometimes you can't enjoy something like a sunset cruise if somebody's in your ear.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
It was wonderful. But I love to do things that calm me down.
Yeah.
I have a small circle. I have the best support team around me
Mm-hmm.
who has been helping me with my nasty illness. But I'm coping with it.
Mhm.
I've been retired for about 15 years.
Okay.
I dream job. I was a scientific and technical photographer working with aerospace engineers.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm an artist. So I'm not really into it like I used to be. I probably painted about, maybe 500 pieces.
Okay.
Wow.
I started that in high school.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll just pick up my drawing pad and that helps a lot.
Mhm.
But for me, the most important thing is I don't want any negativity. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely. I so agree with that. That really creates a level of craziness
Mhm.
that sends the body just totally wild. You know, it negatively impacts the physiology of our being.
Yes.
You know, and we don't need that, especially as we get in our older years. Because
Right.
I was saying the other day, it's so much easier for us to have a heart attack or a stroke when we're in the midst of craziness.
Yes. And I have to
Yes,
tell you, people
I
are,
understand that.
Mhm.
yeah. And so many people I
have
talk
reached
to.
the point.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm
Barb.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Grape.
I have reached the point of a calmness.
Yes.
Things that used to bother me years ago will not bother me anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just at that point where I don't get upset about things the way I used to be. I
Right.
just let it roll I just let it roll off my shoulder.
Yeah, yeah, you have to do that.
And I absolutely love that you did that alone, because I know several people my age, they never want to be alone. I love being alone.
Me too.
I don't mind
I
going
love
to a
it.
restaurant and having dinner alone, or going to a movie. I don't mind it.
Me either. I mean, I think, first of all, I have teenagers in my house.
Mhm.
And between my daughter and the 3 teenagers who are left, there's always something going on. So when I leave my house, I am most of the time alone.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. I don't need company. And I don't need to be somewhere where I'm trying to get in and fit in, or none of that. I value my alone time.
Yeah.
For some reason, I love being alone.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I
Me
love
too.
it.
I don't mind it. I
Me
don't
too.
mind it at all.
At all.
Before the pandemic started, I was doing the usual stuff out with the girls, maybe once every month or once every 6 weeks. Actually, the pandemic changed me a lot.
Yes.
I think it changed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, for some reason, I love doing most things alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I've had a pretty good life. I've had a lot of fun
Mm-hmm.
ripping up and down the road on my Harley.
Oh,
And
okay.
yes, my health kind of like put an end to that, but
Mhm.
I'm still content. I'm doing very well.
Yes,
Awesome.
you are.
Awesome.
And you've always been a good friend. So just a little background. We went to school together, grade school on up, and my husband adored her.
Okay.
That there was nobody like Grape. So yeah, she's
And
always been a big
I
icon
adore
in
them
our
both,
lives.
too.
Yeah.
This lady, I don't know what I would do if she wasn't in my life. I
Oh,
love her.
Oh,
thank
well,
you.
That's
I feel
good.
the same.
Great. We don't want to rush you, but I think we have another caller trying to get in. Thank you so much for calling us and
Thank you,
sharing. And
Grace.
feel free to call any Sunday that we're on air.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Thanks,
Bye. Welcome to the sistership. Oh, Stephania. Hi, girl.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Happy Sistership Sunday.
Happy
Um,
Sistership Sunday.
I'm so glad to see the teenagers on, by the way. So I'm happy that we have the teenagers back on by themselves.
And we're glad to be
because
here.
A
We're
lot
very
of wisdom
glad.
to share there, but I just wanted to share one thing because, as you well know, with the situation with, just career-wise and work and, there's been a lot of stresses and in my life, obviously,
Right.
with that.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out in the audience that are also dealing with challenges with their work environments and, having to make a living and trying to manage through all that, right?
Right.
Family and careers and things of that nature. And I have to say, one of the things, and again, everybody is different. I think that's the big key to this is people need to understand who they are and what makes them, what drives them to be calm,
Right.
or get into a place of peace, because some people like to be alone, some people like to be in specific circles or need to have people around them and socialize. And again, it all comes back to what works for you.
Absolutely.
Right? And not everybody is the same.
Absolutely.
I think the one thing I just wanted to know is that sometimes it takes a moment for you to step outside of the situation that you're in and think.
Yeah.
And for me, I work. I'm a workhorse. 12 hours, 13 hours, whatever it is. But when I need to take the time to just think about what's going on and what challenges I'm going through and what I need to do to make me a better person or happier,
Right.
I have to sometimes sit by myself and think. Sometimes I
Yeah.
just shut out everything around
Just
me. and that's
disconnect,
what I do.
right? You
Yeah.
have to disconnect.
That's
Yeah.
a great coping
Yeah.
skill,
Yeah.
disconnecting.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
you know
today,
what? It doesn't even have to be a situation where people are having to, and this is the other thing, it's not about spending money to figure out what makes you happy.
Right.
Like, you know, oh, I have to go get a massage, or I have to do this, or I have to do that, and it's an expense, because some people just don't have the money for that.
Right.
Sometimes it's just going outside and sitting on your deck.
Absolutely.
And just taking in the energy of what's around you, which is the peacefulness that surrounds you.
Oh, absolutely. I so agree with you. You know, this morning I pulled out a chair from the garage and put it on the front just so I could sit down for a few moments and inhale the fresh air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you got to do that.
I don't think people realize that being outside in Mother Nature actually adds a very positive energy to your self-healing.
Right.
And and God made this planet, right? This world. Whoever wants to think otherwise, that's fine. However, we have things around us that will provide that level of healing.
Right.
If we only take advantage of what's outside. I mean, the birds chirping, the grass, the scent of the lawn, like that, just that energy outside on earth, not within your home because you're boxed in, right?
Yeah.
Everything in your home, you could feel boxed in.
Right.
But when you're outside, there's such a big world out there that people need to take advantage of that opportunity to be outside sometimes and collect themselves. And again, it's not about, I have to go to get a massage. I mean, some people can afford it.
Right.
More power to them. If that's what makes them happy, go right ahead. But it could be something as simple as just going outside, listening to the energy outside, right? The sounds outside, and just walking or just thinking or whatever the case may be, breathing. Breathing.
It grounds you.
Yep,
it grounds you.
And mindfulness plays such an important role in this whole process. You know, being mindful of what's going on with yourself and what's going on with the people around you, how they are impacting on your life. You know, so mindfulness is an important coping skill that we remain mindful of what's happening in our lives. Oh, I think we have another caller, Stephia.
Okay, ladies, have a good one.
Thank
You
you,
too,
Steph.
sweetheart. Thanks for calling.
you.
We'll talk later.
All right.
Good afternoon. This is the Sistership. Thank you for calling in. Who's on the line and what would you like to share?
Hi, this is Shelley.
Oh, hi, Shelley.
Oh, hey, Shelley.
First time I called in.
Oh, well, welcome and thank you for calling.
I am so enjoying this show today.
Thank you.
You ladies are really, really speaking the truth about coping. And I love your suggestions, and I love all the callers who have called in. I guess the thing that I would like to share is that I have been through a lot of different challenges in my life, as we all have.
Yes.
Some are really serious challenges. And by the way, Jane is one of my dearest friends.
You are mine as well, believe me.
And I love her to pieces. And I love you too now, Mama Deborah.
Thank you, my dear. And anyone, whenever you call in, we feel the love and we're sending it back to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, when you do go through a lot of different challenges in life, and it really helps you to put things in perspective. And earlier in the show, you were talking about negativity and people who were, negative in your life or toxic situations.
Right.
And when you realize that you can survive, really, really tough things in life, you put it in perspective and you realize that, these people are not going to hurt me. I've already been through some of the worst.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think once we reach a certain age, I think that really becomes firm in our inner being that I've made it through worse.
Yes.
And no matter what, I can make it through this.
That's right. That's right. And I tell you, if I didn't have my small circle of girlfriends, and it is small, and Jane has a little, she's a little gem in the crown of my little friendship.
Oh, thank you. Yes, she is.
If I didn't have this group of girls to just touch base with, run ideas over with, things that we're thinking, I tell you, I don't know what I would do, because it really helps to have that core group of sisters who just, understand you, they understand your challenges, you understand theirs, and just having that unconditional love and support from other women, it's just unbelievable.
It's nourishing.
Yes.
It nourishes the soul, and then the soul is able to fuel the spirit.
Yes.
And we can soar to new heights of awesomeness when we have that kind of energy in our lives.
Yeah. I mean, we have to build each other up, right? I mean, we can't, as women, we have so many challenges as it is from the moment we cry, that we're born. And then, and I love men, but I think sometimes it's easier for them to disconnect in a way that we're not able to. So I think we do have a tendency to gather and depend on each other for that support.
Because I think as women, we understand.
Yes.
We go through so many of the same issues and challenges. And so we understand each other. We go through things men will never go through.
Right. I mean, you can't explain to a man about a hormone change that you're going through. I mean, they look at you like you have 3 heads, and that's probably exactly what they see. But if I sat down with a woman and said, listen, I feel like my hormones are all out of whack. You reach across the table and you hold their hand and you go, I get it, man. I get it. And I think that does a coping skill, right?
Yeah,
being understanding, identifying what another person needs that sits down at the table with you. It's when they don't come to that table, when they'd rather, hide in bed or, stay silent. That's where the hurt comes.
Oh, absolutely.
For themselves.
Yeah. And Shelley, you're sharing some great pointers with everyone, with us and everyone. And I think that this is what people need. We need that level of connectiveness and sharing.
And safe. You need to know it's a safe place to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we try to do here at the Sistership. Provide a level of safety and an environment that feels so good that women say, I can call in, or anyone can call in and say, I feel safe enough to share. Yes. And that's so important, because so many people don't. They don't feel safe. And they have not got to the point where they understand how to feel safe. And I think outer influences make you feel like you don't really want to share how you're absolutely feeling, because people judge, right? And we don't want to be judged. But I say, just let it all out there, and they're going to judge you anyway. So what the hell's the difference? Jane, most people, see, I always tell people it's important to be a good judge of character.
Oh, yes.
But what most people do today is they don't judge, they condemn.
Yes.
And that's where the hurt and the pain comes in when it comes to connecting to other human beings.
Right.
So you have anything else you'd like to share with us, Shelley?
Well, I just, I've been with my friends, and Jane is included in this group. I mean, we always say this is a safe space, it's a judgment-free zone, but if anybody is going, kind of off the rails, and we all kind of pull each other back to the core.
And that's important.
It's so wonderful to have that. And I've always been a girl's girl. My whole life I've had girlfriends. But
me too.
In this stage of my life, life has changed for me in many ways, and I don't know what I'd do without my core girlfriends. And Jane, you're right there alongside all my core girlfriends.
And you are too. And Deb and I have always found comfort in each other in all the years I mean, we go back.
We go back,
We go back,
exactly.
yeah.
You know, and we feel comfortable sharing
And
with
we've
each
always
other.
thought alike. I think we've
Yeah.
always had the same values,
Like minds.
yeah, and morals, and we've always had positive goals that we wanted to always share with other people. So
Right.
that we connected the first time we met, I think. we
Oh,
connected.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think people who are like-minded from a positive perspective
Mhm.
do connect. Like
Yes.
almost immediately.
You
'Cause we
almost
can feel
thirst
each other.
for
We
it.
feel
Yes.
each other's
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And because I always tell people, up underneath these bodies is pure energy.
Mhm.
And we can feel that energy.
Yes.
We have the ability to feel that energy. We can feel if it's positive, if it's negative.
Right.
We can sense dark aura and dark energy
Yes.
and all of that. And
Mhm.
it's wonderful. And I think as we age, we can do that even more.
Yes, I
and
agree.
we're usually spot on when we say that this person is an awesome person. I like being around
Mhm.
that person. And then you see somebody else who has not quite evolved to that level.
Right.
And you're like, okay, this is not somebody I want to be around.
Right.
And I
Right.
think making choices is very important. Making good choices about who is around you is paramount to the
Mhm.
process of being able to cope with the things that are going on, not only with us, but around us and with
Yes.
people we interface with.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Harry,
Well,
how do
thank
you?
you so much for taking my call, ladies.
Oh, you're
thank you
welcome.
for calling in.
This, and I'll be sure to tune in.
Oh, please
on
do.
Monday. This is awesome.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you, Shelley. Have a great rest of the
Okay.
day and a great week ahead.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think that's just what we all need,
Mm-hmm.
is to be able to connect.
Yes. Yeah.
There is a disconnect there are healthy disconnects,
Mhm.
and then there are not healthy disconnects.
And Deb, I find social media it has some good points, but it has
No.
some very bad points. Like,
Yes, it does.
you read a text and you put attitude in it or not, depending on who it's from,
Right,
versus me picking up the phone or saying, hey, meet me for a cup of coffee. I need to talk to you.
right.
Where you're actually seeing the person, you're seeing the body language, you're seeing what they really, what they really feel.
You can sense them when you're in their presence on a level that it takes you a little while longer to sense.
Yes.
When you're dealing with social media.
Yes. Yep. I agree.
So I like to make human contact because I'm
Mhm.
able to see and sense what it takes so much longer to see and sense.
Yeah.
And hear on social media.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me sad to see that we are becoming socially inept, right? I do think we have a tendency to do that. We do more on social media than, family dinners and, meeting some girlfriends out for coffee and,
Right.
and that kind of thing. I think we depend more on that.
Yeah, like when you and I were talking on the phone the other day, and we're saying, "Oh, we're going to get together and we're going to have dinner together."
Mhm. But you also said, which
What?
touched my heart.
What?
You said, I'm going to come over and cook for you. Do you know that I find that when I cook for my friends or they sit around my dining room table, and which we've done many times.
Oh, many times, yes.
I find there's such a like I could feel the
You can feel the love.
Yes,
You can
absolutely.
feel the love in the
Yes.
food.
Yes.
And that word love is a superpower when it comes to coping.
Yeah.
Just love people.
Mhm.
Okay, you may not agree with who they are. You may not agree with a lot of things, but just love them, even if you have to do it from a distance.
Mhm.
If the person is too tough, love them from a distance. Don't do anything to hurt them.
Right.
Don't smear them. Don't, gossip about them in bad ways and all of that. Just realize that person has not yet evolved to your level of growth.
And I do think everybody brings something different to the table.
Absolutely.
And, I think I just had this conversation with someone. I've learned throughout my life, when I go to a meeting, when I have something I want to say, it may not be positive, but I always try to bring a solution or a positive ending to
Right.
what I'm trying to get across to them.
So that the consequences come out in a way that is conducive for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think that, consequences is something people need to consider when they think about coping.
Mhm.
What are no matter what you choose to do to cope with a situation, ask yourself, what will be the consequence of my choosing this coping option?
Yeah. And if they don't care, that's not the person you want to be around.
Absolutely.
If they don't care of what the long-term consequences are going to be to that person they're trying to hurt or the person they're talking about, you have to consider that.
Absolutely. And I think there's a saying that I think is very true that we always have to remember. Hurting people hurt other people.
Mm-hmm.
They do. They're hurting, and they are trying to shake off that hurt by throwing it at you.
Yes.
In one way or another.
Yeah.
So it's important to recognize with who and what you're dealing. That's important when it comes to coping, because if you don't know who you're dealing with and you don't know what you're dealing with, then you're liable to become involved in a situation that will tear you down, drag you down. There's so many people who are stuck in the rabbit holes of life and they don't know how to get out.
Yes.
But you've got to sit and they got, many of them got there through the means of dealing with someone that kind of drove them there, got them there, and then they didn't know how to get out.
Yeah. And some people enjoy that.
And some people
they enjoy that negativity. They, like I said, it becomes their identity, and they want to bring like you said, misery loves company.
Misery loves company, and hurting people hurt people.
Yes.
And so we have to keep those means in mind, because it's so true, and we have to decide how well we want to live. And it doesn't mean you're going to move into a mansion or drive a Mercedes or get a mink coat. State of mind is so much more valuable than anything you can purchase. So you have to remember, your state of mind is precious. And you want to make sure that state of mind is healthy. And when you recognize people who don't have a healthy state of mind, you have to make a choice to move away from them, to let go, so that you can grow and become the person that you feel you are inside.
Right.
There's a you inside of you that's yearning and burning to come out and express yourself. The you were created to be.
Right.
The you that was born into the world to do marvelous things, to help people, to make connections, to experience.
Yes.
On a level that is humane.
Right. Oh my gosh. Humane.
So people really have to, take the time and do that deep introspective analysis of themselves, their lives, the people in their lives, and sometimes, the people in your lives are hurting because they have not learned how to get past the hurt.
Right.
And when you have someone in your life who understands that you're hurting, and unless they're hurting you, we can shoot some pearls of wisdom at them that hopefully they will take and put in their treasure chest of life, because that's so important. The more gems and jewels we have to deal with life, the better off we are.
Exactly.
And then the more we apply it, we're even more better.
Yeah. And when you apply it, you put the positive energy out there to your grandchildren, your children, your friends. And, I love just like walking down the street and people I pass, I go, hello, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I was on the subway with my son a while back, and I walked on the subway and I went, hello. And he goes, Mom, please, they're going to think you're crazy. I go, yeah, then they'll leave me alone.
Whatever,
They don't want to deal with the crazy lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. What was it? Friday, I was in Walmart. My granddaughter and I, we went into Walmart, and we came around the aisle where they have the eggs, and there was a group of women there. And two of the women knew me. Mama Steve, we just hugging, and the energy, it was phenomenal.
Yes.
My granddaughter, she moved over to the other side, and she's like, "Oh my God, Grandma!"
Hey, listen, I've met some of the nicest people in the grocery store.
Oh,
honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
Yep.
So bring that loving energy with you everywhere, even into your own bed.
Yes.
If it's no one but you in that bed, bring that loving energy into the bed with you, for you.
Exactly.
If you have a partner, bring that loving energy into the bed for the both of you.
Right.
Because we thrive on good energy. We thrive on positiveness. When we are dealing with a lot of negative energy, that drains us.
Oh, absolutely.
It changes our whole mindset and our desire to be around.
But it changes your looks.
It changes your looks
your
too.
health. It
Absolutely.
Changes, how you want to just stay in bed. It changes how you want to. You're not productive.
You're not productive. Your energy kind of wanes.
Yes.
It kills your energy. Like I said, we have to. The more love we feel illuminating from our souls, the more our soul is able to fuel our spirit and keep us soaring to unimaginable heights of excellence, So
and you pass that on.
And you pass that on. There was a movie with Denzel Washington. I can't remember the name of it, but as people passed each other, they were touching. But they were passing on either good energy or bad energy, and I was watching, I'm like, wow, look at it. But there was a message. Most people didn't catch that probably, but I caught that. I'm like, they're either passing on good energy or negative energy. And it's true. We either touch each other with good energy or negative energy.
But haven't you met someone? I know I have, and I'm like, oh, I can't be near that person.
Oh, absolutely.
You feel that darkness, that cloud that's over their head.
Absolutely.
And
I run from them.
Yeah,
I move out of their way fast.
I don't have time or the energy for it.
Absolutely.
At all.
Absolutely.
I really don't.
We don't want to make the time because we learned that time is precious. And it really goes very fast.
Yes.
I look up, I'm like, oh my God, where did time go?
Yeah.
But if you live and you continue to live, time will continue to move on no matter what.
And speaking of time,
we
are out of time.
We are I love that. We are out of time. So this is Mama C and this is Spicy and the Queen Ages.
Yes.
We're very glad that you took the time to tune in today and even call in.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure you do so every Sunday at 2. We're on summer hours right now, but we'll be back during the end of the summer, going into the fall with our weekly shows. So stay tuned. We got a whole lot of new shows coming, and we want you to feel the energy, feel the love.
And so you can meet us personally at Unity in the Community, which is on August
26th. From what time to what time, Terry?
Yep.
11 to 7.
11 to 7. Okay,
Yep.
We're going to be out
at
there.
Dansbury Park.
Absolutely.
And we'd love you to come on in and
we'd love to give you a hug and enjoy the music, the activities, and the love.
Get to meet us.
Yes, exactly. So on that note, everyone have a great rest of the Sunday and have a fabulous week ahead and stay positive.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.